Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching Security Scan. I'm Frank Rausen Pereira. Well, the government is set to procure 21 MiG-29 and 12 Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter aircraft from Russia days after the Cabinet Committee on Security approved the purchase of 83 light combat aircraft Tejas from Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. The centre will also purchase the upgrades of the aircraft's existing fleets. The request for proposal will soon be issued to the Russian state-run defence export arm. On January 13, the Cabinet met under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi and approved procurement of 73 LCA Tejas Mk1A fighter aircrafts and 10 LCA Tejas Mk1 trainer aircrafts at the cost of 45,696 crore rupees, along with design and development of infrastructure sanctions worth 1,200 crore rupees. Meanwhile, the Indian Air Force, along with the French Air Force, commenced the first major international military exercise involving their respective Rafale fighter jets in Jodhpur, Rajasthan on Wednesday. As part of the first edition of the joint exercise Desert Night 21, 4 French Rafale fighters landed in Jodhpur after flying directly from the Djibouti Air Base using their A330 multi-role tanker transport aircraft. In this edition of Security Scan, we will analyze what's being done to boost the Indian Air Force's capabilities. Joining me on the program today are Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, retired defense analyst; Air Vice Marshal Manmohan Bahadur, retired Additional Director General, Center for Air Power Studies; and Lieutenant General Dr. V.K. Saxena, retired Distinguished Fellow, Vivekananda International Foundation. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on this edition of Security Scan. All right, AVM Bahadur, let me start the program with you first. Before we understand and analyze what's being done to boost the capabilities of the IAF, let's first talk about the state of affairs really as far as the IAF is concerned.
The very fact that the Indians, or that we are going in for additional MiG-29s and Sukhois from Russia itself speaks of the fact that the Air Force requires their fighter squadron strength to go up and go up drastically. We are down to 30. We should be a minimum of 39.5, and by various calculations, actually for a two-front situation, it should be around 42. So the fact that we are going to the Russians again, remember it is just a RFP, as you said in your opening remarks. There is still some time. The Russians will propose what they want. There will be contract negotiations, etc., and considering the cost, it will go up to the CCS for approval and then availability of funds. So there is still some time before these 21 MiG-29s come in and the 12 Sukhois come in from Russia. In the interim, this 83 aircraft which are coming, the Tejas, they too, just remember the Mark 1A is yet to fly as a prototype with all systems together. That will fly only next year, 2022 end. And after signing of the contract, 3 years, suppose the contract is signed now, it will be 2024 before, as per contract, the first Tejas Mark 1A will come into the Air Force inventory. So the point is, we are looking at roughly a 5-year time frame wherein we have to make do, maybe 4. We have to make do with what strength we have now. And this is the present state. 30 squadrons and the MiG-21 squadrons are gradually going down. So what the Air Force needs to do and has done, let me tell you, considering the fact that China front has been active and so has been our western border, is to optimize our resources. Our dispersal or our rather deployments have changed, been made optimal to cater for the two-front collusive threat, if I may call it. And I'm sure with the extra money that has been given as an emergency release, the Air Force would have looked into getting its serviceability up, because if the serviceability is not up at least 60% to 70%, then we are talking of 30% of the fleet being down, which is not an acceptable factor. Right. So there is still some time before the strength goes up. Until then, we have to conserve our resources.
Absolutely. I'd like to get your reactions in as well, General, on this particular point of optimizing resources and conserving resources, because like the AVM has just pointed out, it's going to be at least 4 or 5 years till we get these new orders in and, our fleet size is increased. In the interim, what is our best option?
I will like to say that building of the capability through optimization is the only way out. And building Indian Air Force's capability is not only restricted to aircrafts. Everybody is talking about very familiar numbers, authorized strength, 42 squadrons, we are having 31, 30 squadrons, and the gaps are there and Tejas is coming. Important thing is we have to realize that there are four verticals in which the capability of the Air Force is being built up and needs to be built up. So without giving any classified information, I will only try to bring out the criticalities of the whole thing. For example, you talked about optimization. Let's look at the current fleet. What is the critical in the current fleet of 30-31 squadrons is the MiG-21. Firstly, the MiG-21 is there in de-induction way back from 2014. One was here in 2014 to 17, went to 19 to 20, 21 to 22. Now around that phase, 6 squadrons, something numbers which I will not give out, is already on the verge of either de-induction or about to happen in a time frame from now. MiG-27, the squadrons are also due at around 2024, 25, around that time. Jaguar, another 4 years from there on. See, what is the criticality? Criticality is not only we're talking about these 30-31 squadrons, we're talking about the depleting numbers, even in these squadrons, because of the phased in de-induction taking place. Now, faced with this, you just now mentioned in your remark, you talked about one squadron of Su-30, MKI, you talked about 29, MiG-29, MiG-29s coming, 36 Rafale, and so on. The criticality is not here. That will come. The criticality is Tejas. You know what is the total requirement of Tejas aircraft? Is 324 aircraft, sir. In one, the phase one, which is the Mark 1 version, was to only 40 aircrafts. Mark 1A is 83 aircraft, and Mark 2 thereafter, which is the advanced version, which has SR radar, which has air-to-air refueling, which has better EW package, is 201 aircraft. Now, just to bring to you that Tejas was to be inducted way back in 1994. And when was the first operational clearance given? December 2013. Full operational clearance 2019. Now cut to the current figure. Current figure is that we have now talked of 83, 10 plus 73 as you just mentioned. Their original time frame was 25-26. Now they have given a time frame of January 24 to December 28. Already 2 years hence. My take on this is that HAL needs to put its act together firstly. Whatever delay has taken place, it's okay. But now we are looking at 1A, we're looking at Mark 2 more importantly than 1A. As the AVM just brought out, even 1A, everybody talking 1A. Third, it is December 2022 or 2022 early. That is the time. And 2024 is from. Now that is only one part. Aircraft. Aircraft is only one issue.
Right.
The other major thing of the capability building lies in better management and control system. You know that the responsibility of doing air defense for the entire national airspace belongs to Air Force. For that, Air Force has put together a nationwide integrated air command and control system. That capability needs to be built up in terms of putting the sensors on board, putting the seamless integration between services, handshake between services on board, and also getting the eye in the sky. If you remember, we discussed this on security scan. We have what? We have 3 Falcons, that is AVAX, and 2 our Netra. Our requirement is much more. I won't give the number.
Right.
But the difference of the six platforms of the AEWC, which is now coming through the Air India platform, they need to put it check together. We had
Certainly.
the director care the other day. And what about the third vertical, which is most important vertical, is the Air Force's ground-based air defense weapons. You are aware that the earliest Pichora missiles of 87 vintage are being digitized. In addition, there are certain other voids which I cannot give out in the open domain in terms of VSHORADs, very short range air defense system, quick reaction SAMs, and also the NASAM capability that needs to be put together. So if we are
Right.
looking at the optimization, we have to look at three verticals. We have to look at aircrafts, we have to look at battle management and control system, we have to look at ground-based air defense capability. I am proud to say, I'm very happy to say that things are moving forward greatly under Atmanirbhar Bharat, and we are heading towards making up our things. Atmanirbhar
Sure.
Bharat is looking up. That is what is my take today.
Okay, all right. So, Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, let me bring you into the picture now. As far as, since we are here, how important is indigenization and how important is it for us to, ensure that we go ahead along that path, because there's only, up to a limit that we can rely on others. It's always best to have our own capabilities.
Well, thank you, Frank, to get me here in the program. It is important. No country has become a regional or a global power by importing 60% of its hardware from outside. And therefore, this slogan, which was going on for a long time, but actually not much was happening, the present Prime Minister, from the time he has come, and he has floated these acronyms, there has been a rapid movement in this direction. Now, when our colleagues have just mentioned number of aircraft, etc., don't forget that when you manufacture these, the ecosystem has to develop. For the Tejas, nearly 500 all companies are involved, the medium and small manufacturing enterprises. So it also gets you jobs. It gives you sort of your economic progress. Imagine 45,600 crores being infused into the HLs, only the Tejas program. So I think that if India has to become a regional power or power of some reckoning, then indigenization is the only way. There is no other way to become, and therefore this Atmanirbhar Bharat is an extremely good slogan. And I think that the most of the revenue and jobs will be created in the defense sector, Frank. Because you see the defense corridor which has been made, you see the special economic zones which have been created, and therefore I suppose that there will be a fair amount of investment from outside, and which is going to boost up our economy. Let's not forget that ultimate aim of this country is to reach a $5 trillion economy in a very limited time frame. So we are moving in that direction. Unfortunately, COVID has slowed us down. So you will have people to do jobs. You will have people's life sort of standard improving. You will have MSMEs coming and getting the job. And most importantly, it's an Indian designed aircraft. Okay, MiG-29 may not be, but we have a very good support system. The BRDs of the Air Force are almost like an aircraft factory. Since I have dealt with them a number of times, having flown with the Air Force for a little while, they are extremely good. In fact, even the Navy, they, for their own aircraft servicing, they bank upon the BRD in many cases. We have taken it. So look at the skill which will be utilized in the skill development program. You look at the number of people who will be employed. There are not all people are not in uniform. In BRD is also a very large number of civilians, the mechanics, the fitters, those kind of people. So that mid-level and low-level skill we have in plenty. And we've got these ITIs all over the country. There are a large number of guys who are sort of getting out of ITIs but not getting a job. So I think it's extremely important for all three services. Navy has been fortunately a little ahead on indigenization for a long time. The country has been asking, Air Force has been crying for aircraft for almost 20 years. Unfortunately, it is now only in the lap of the present government to expedite it. But you can expedite it so much. So I think that indigenization process has commenced, and our colleagues have rightly given a time frame. So we'll have to see, but action is on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, AVM Bahadur, it's great to be self-reliant, and that's the direction that we are moving in. But as far as our indigenous capabilities, capacity is concerned, how far along have we come?
That's a good question, Frank. But just before that, if I may just go a step back regarding the verticals that General Saxena talked about. as far as the ground-based air defense system or the air defense system is concerned, our Bharat Electronics Limited, that's been a success story, as so has been the BDL. The Akash missiles and the radars being brought out by BEL, they are good. The Air Force and the Army for their ground defense have gone in for Akash missiles, Akash systems. So that's one major part. And with the S-400 coming in, though it will take still some time to get operational, our air defense is looking very robust, is robust now and will be so further in the coming years. Okay, to your question, how far are we and where are we placed as far as getting indigenization going? Please remember that you require infrastructure and you require the skill levels. So all of a sudden, when we put in 48,000 crores into the market, of course, it will be in stages, but we require skilled manpower. We require skilled engineers. We require the tooling, the jigs. Now, these are all parallel processes that have to happen as the Tejas is being built up. We cannot have the prototype flying and nothing happening on the production. That's unfortunately what's happened earlier in the case of many of our indigenous programs, when we went to town and a lot of propaganda that we have flown, but the production didn't keep up. There is no point having an aircraft lying in the hangar for spares. The Air Force, as well as the Navy, the aviation branch, or the Army aviation wing, want serviceable aircraft on the flight line. So manufacturing is one and product support is the other. So these are the two things that HAL, because that's our prime integrator, if I can call it, not as yet, but it will reach the integrator level, must ensure. So while HAL has bought land, there are reports that some of the Air Force BRDs may start making some part of the HAL or integrating it. But the fact remains there is a lot of time involved between getting land and producing an aircraft out of a factory that you have to create.
Right.
So the time frame that we have got is very limited. We have to really expedite with 8 aircraft per year, which is what the HAL presently produces. It's a tough job to increase it to 16 aircraft per year, which is a minimum. With 16 aircraft per year, as and when it reaches, we are looking at 6 to 7 years from 2024, which when the first aircraft will come. So you're looking at 2031, till where hopefully the contract will be completed. So in 2031, you're looking for new Tejas coming in, whereas technology has really gone, by leaps and bounds in the next decade. We are talking 10 years from now. Okay.
Absolutely.
So really, it has to be an all-out effort. The academia has to be involved. Unfortunately, not very many people in the IITs and the engineering colleges had been volunteering to study aerospace science or aeronautical to become aeronautical engineers. That has to change. People must look at aeronautics as not only as a career, but as also as a passion, so that this thing happens. Absolutely. It just cannot be just propaganda.
Absolutely. General, so, what has been holding us back? What has been historically our problem? Why is it that we've not been able to realize our full potential? Because we have the brains, we have the capability as well, but somehow we have not seen, seen it fructify the way we would like to see it.
Frank, I will pick up the thread before this question from where AVM has said. And I will say that if there is one thing which holds us back, it is time and cost overruns. It is time compliance. It is realization of a capability. Not that we are complacent. It is that the technology is ahead of us, which need to be realized in the time which is required to be done. That we need to put our act together, which we are trying to do. If you have talked about Akash, I have the honor. On 5th of May 2015, I inducted Akash into the Army Air Defense. Akash is a success story, sir. But there is also A lot to be done in ground-based air defense weapon system. I cannot give out classified details as to where are we, but there are very short-range air defense systems. There are quick reaction systems. There are ballistic missile defense systems. There are sensors in the battle management and control system. We all need to be put together into one thread. Now, what is the problem? You talked about the AWACS. He says, if you remember the Director Clare, what he said, sir, we will take 6 years for putting these 6 platforms of AEWC on the Indian Air Force, in the Air India platform. I said, take 6, but try to do it in 5. Don't say I will take 6, but do not finish it in 12. Now, Air Force is put out a huge infrastructure in terms of modernization of airfield structure, MAFI. It successfully finished its phase 1 of 30 airfields in 2019. Phase 2 has been given to an indigenous startup, our SCD. How many? 37 airfields, 24 of Air Force, 9 of Navy, 4 of others, of 1,000, more than 1,000 crores. That is something which should finish in its time frame. Now, what about the aircrafts? We are saying, everybody is saying Tejas, Tejas, everybody is saying 83. I am not looking at 83. I am looking at 201. Air Force has set its figure on 324. Sir, we are at 30 squadron. Tomorrow, we require 42 to fight a two-front war, maybe 50. Why 42? What is this figure of 42? We require 50 squadron. For that, we need to put our time and cost overruns in our pocket.
Right.
Air Force has also come out, if you remember, out of 126 aircraft, 12 are, you talked about 12 Sukhoi is coming from Russia. 126 minus 12, 114. 114 aircraft, the proposal has come out in Make in India under strategic partnership model under Atmanirbhar Bharat. More than 59,000 crore rupees. Now that needs to see the light of the day without having the time and cost pranks.
Absolutely.
That is why. And finally, as I always tell in your program, as the Admiral also brought out, sir, जो स्वदेशी है वो अपना है, जो विदेशी है वो सपना है. आज समय आ गया है हम अपने दमखम पर खड़े हों और अचीव करें आत्मनिर्भरता. And Air Force is well on its way. The agencies, the actors, the stakeholders, the decision makers have to put their act together. That is my message.
Certainly. So, Admiral, in the immediate near future, what needs to be done? What should our focus areas be? What should we concentrate on?
Well, we should concentrate immediately on creating the infrastructure for all this manufacturing which is going to take place and make people accountable. People who are supposed to be doing particular work and produce something in timeline and they have accepted it, they must be brought to books if they are not doing it in proper time. The project management is another area, Frank, which is not up to the mark, particularly with the PSU. I'm sorry to say this. You must involve the user, must get the user as part of the project management. Only then I sense that something will happen. I'll just give you an example of Tejas that we are all talking about and discussing. AVM Bahadur is also here. Just because Air Force was not involved, they were not taking on board for the project management, that there has been so many delays, there has been so much of slippage. Because a user, if you have an Air Marshal or AVM heading the Tejas project at HAL, you will find things will move in a different manner. Right now, there is a bit of, our problem of the work culture. And that work culture can be improved if you have a service officer of that particular service for whom the build-up is taking place. So I think that first thing is to infrastructure, make people accountable, and put the service officer for whom that platform is being created. So project management has to improve. It is not good.
Right. All right. Time to get quick closing comments now from all my panelists with the best way forward, starting first with you, AVM Bahadur.
I think we need to learn a little bit from our adversary. Deng Xiaoping had said, hide your capability, bide your time. I think it is time that while social media is all right, PsyOps is fine, but we must value the value of what we are producing. I think going overboard at times works at cross purposes. we must take credit for the real things that we produce. When the aircraft enters the Air Force inventory, that is production of HAL, not an aircraft produced out of an HAL factory, for example. I just quoted an HAL example. There are many such examples from other units too. So
Right.
I think we need to be true to ourselves and work. And when we reach a particular stage, by all means, take credit.
Absolutely. General?
Sir, I would like to end on a very promising and encouraging note to say that our intellect and our product, which relate to our capability, are world class. Our AVAX is better than most of the AVAX in the world. Our BVRAM, our Astra is better than or at shoulders with the best of the BVRAMs. Our Mark II of Tejas, which is far beyond into the horizon, pips many of the aircrafts. I'm not only talking of JF-70, much beyond that.
Hmm.
As also, our weapon systems today will pip. I'm talking of Akash, I'm talking of QRSAM, I'm talking of digitized Pichoras. I'm talking
Right.
about battle management and control system is our own, very much our own. What is required more? We require to stay the course. We require to achieve timelines. We require to cut out cost, and we require to turn out quality. My take is we can, we will, if we have the intention. And today, luckily, we have the intention, we have
Sure.
the right political push, we have an enabling atmosphere. So let's go ahead and do it. That is what is my message.
Absolutely. All right. And Admiral, close the show for us with your concluding remarks.
Well, I think it's a right move in the right direction. We are not there quite, because if a whole of country approach or whole of organization approach is taken, all those who are involved, and we have this management of project which I was talking about, I think we should be able to do this because we have everything. We have skill, we have working ability. The same people when they go outside the country, Frank, they do so well. Why is it that you're not doing well here? So I think there has to be a little bit of passion, that this is our own, and everybody will feel very happy. The pilots will very happy, and therefore, at one time, if you recall, I had mentioned that can you imagine a LCA Navy flown by Indian pilot and landing on an Indian-built aircraft carrier? Just imagine the joy. Your morale will be so high. So I think that we are in the right direction, and this government is committed, and I'm sure that we will reach there sooner than later.
All right. On that positive note, then, I'll call it a wrap on this edition of Security Scan. Thank you to my panelists for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. That's it from me. See you again next time.